What's up guys, this is Geki, and I'm going to go over the Claw Survival Guide for Arcade Edition. Here we go. Stand Heavy Punch is going to be your key to victory. So Stand Heavy Punch now is cancelable into V-Skill, of course, but you can also cancel into specials, like so, or even... and you can even juggle with a launch. Now the main two things you should be going into when you land a Stand Heavy Punch Claw is two things. One is for corner carry and damage, which is this. It does the most damage and the most stun from his meterless punishes. If you want more meter, or more damage and more stun with one bar, you go... Okay, that'll give you the most for one bar possible. Okay. Now, if you want meter, you do into the V-Skill hit. So in Season 2, it was actually pretty low, so there's almost no point in going for it. But when you land 6 V-Skills, this is not including damage you take or crush counters you land, but if you land 6 V-Skills in this game, you will build 1 bar of V-Trigger 1 or 2. Each hit successful in target combo or raw will build you 1/3 of 1 bar, which is really good. So basically, it makes your V-Trigger more threatening because you can use it twice per round if you're efficient with landing your V-Trigger. So let's say you're winning and you get a chance to do a stun combo. I would just go for V-meter build because the scaling will be a lot anyway, and the benefits of having more V-meter, especially in Arcade Edition, where you can use V-reversal to get out or escape certain situations. And a lot of characters have trouble locking down Vega when he has meter to V-reversal, so definitely keep in mind and keep an eye out for, because the thing is, when you're going to be damaging your opponent, they're going to be building V-meter as well. And some characters have a lot of comeback when they have full resources, like Laura, Abigail, Rashid, and other characters as well. So the more resources you have to use when you need to close out the round, the better it will be for you. Okay? Now, people have been complaining about the EX Barcelona attack getting nerfed. And yes, it was slowed down, so if you can see, it drops much lower. And what happens now if you land it? When you roll, you're not as plus anymore. So the only way to meaty with it now is doing a stand short. And what does stand short counter hit give you? Well, if you've been playing Vega, you should know that you get this. Now you can go into trigger, and because of the new buffs, it's actually not too bad, right? But I would avoid in most situations now, avoiding going into clawless wall dive into roll because of the mix-up potential being very small, and because of the nerf to like kick roll loop, the pushback being too far to follow up, there's also no point, right? Like this, like doing a meaty, and the timing is a little inconsistent as well, as you can see here. So if you've been whipping it, you might know why now. And that's not too bad, but compared to the other characters and the guaranteed damage you'll get, if you do this instead, you'll get a guaranteed knockdown. A knockdown where they cannot back roll, and they can only quick rise or delay get up, and you have better setups off of it. Okay? Now one thing I will mention about the Stand Hard Punch target combo is that you can do a mix-up instead. Because if you're sad that you can't do a roll and get a good meaty, like with crouching medium kick like you used to, or crouch medium punch, what you get now is off this. You can do a roll and you get crouchers meaty into big damage. Let me not drop that. Oh. And look at that damage. No bar whatsoever. So you immediately roll after the light kick, after the first hit. Or the second hit, I should say. And you get huge damage, nearly 50%. Now the thing is, this covers back rise as well. And it beats 3 frame. I know I have it set to 4 frame, but trust me, it works. And with the 4 frame, on back recovery, you just delay it for a second, and you can hit it clean. It's a little trickier, but once you get it down, it's pretty consistent. Now also, what I want to see Vega players stop doing is the light kick roll into EX command grab. It does work currently, but the problem is if they hold back, the command grab will whiff no matter what. And if you try to do a normal, the best thing to do if you get a light kick roll follow up is do a crouch medium punch, stand medium kick, or even a crouch fierce. Okay? Because if they try to walk away, they will get hit or put in block stun, right? And one thing to focus on from now is that command grabs have been weakened, right? Takes much longer to recover on all versions. So command grab is more risky now, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. It just means claw is much more powerful because of the buffs to the normal stand fierce and the buffs to V meter build on V skill. The only time I would go for an EX Flying Barcelona attack is if I'm going into the ASE at the end, the EX. Because that will do a considerable amount of damage. That is the only time I will not go for the grab. If I have 2 bars, my opponent doesn't have too much meter, I would go into that for the kill. Or for, you know, stun, or for the big damage, whatever it is. It is still harder, but it's a little easier in Claw because the hitbox is bigger than in Clawless. So Vega's anti-airs also got buffed, and doing Roundhouse is very consistent now. It's very consistent. Let's record a jump in real quick. So it crush counters way more consistently. I probably crush counter 9 times out of 10 where I think it wouldn't in Season 2. So as a far anti-air, or closer range anti-air, it's very good. And it got better because the hitbox was increased. So you can see I'm crush countering much closer. So it will still whiff. It doesn't necessarily hit behind the Vega's head, as the patch notes said. But it's a very, very good anti-air. It's a very good anti-air. Now, if you're too slow to react, at that farthest range, you can do Crouch Heavy Punch. It is improved, but it only works from this spacing. And if you mistime it, if you do it too close, or you mistime it, it will whiff, or you'll get clipped in the face. Right? So it still even trades. But you have to make sure it's a far jump in. And that's if you're a bit late. If you're a bit closer though, what you can do is jump air throw. Now with jump air throw, it actually does the same damage as a medium command grab, which is huge, so they buffed it. And the thing is with this, you instantly jump forward and press throw. You don't jump up and wait, because sometimes you'll get beat out of the air. But you can do it pretty damn late and get the throw. See, not too late, but... And it's quite fast. And if you're ready, if you're fast enough to do roundhouse, you can definitely do air throw. And I would recommend doing it in the corner, because it keeps them there. And as a dirty setup, if you want them not to guard. Oops, let's turn that back. Put them in the corner. So if you air throw them into the corner, right, they have to quick rise. But anyway, if they quick rise, well, if they don't wake up buttons. turn that off. You can go for a cross-up super. It's pretty clean. Pretty clean. Timing is a bit tight, but if you practice it, you probably will land it very often. I don't think this works mid-screen. Let's test on the fly. Definitely not. Don't do it. So let's talk about his V-Trigger 1. V-Trigger 1 is something that you need to use off your hit confirms. Crouch medium punch being the favorite because of the good range. Stand medium punch as well. And always the EX wall dive is a good follow-up. If you have no meter, you can go dash up slide, and then you'll get your meaty setup, whatever it is. And you can also go for a reset if you'd really like. I don't recommend it. I recommend getting the knockdown here. So you can do something like stand medium punch, I believe will work. Yeah, you can do that, but the thing is, there's nothing you'll get really. You can't cross up super. You can't do really anything off of it. And it's hard, you have to micro walk forward as well. Yeah. So V-Trigger 2, I would say, V-Trigger 1, I would say use it on Ryu, Akuma, and Guile. Every other character, V-Trigger 2, so far, seems like a better choice. Because it's more versatile, and the moments you're going to land V-Trigger 1 are basically in the same situations. The differences in between the three characters I mentioned is that they have strong fireballs that Vega sometimes can have trouble dealing with, and obviously Guile is the hardest for him, and Ryu comes next because of the buffs to his fireball game, especially in V-Trigger. And also with Akuma, because his fireball explodes and he can be pretty mobile, and he has the air fireball. So if they ever throw an air fireball V-Trigger, your greatest option is you can super through it in both V-Triggers, but with one it's very important because you have this as well. And this will beat it clean if you stand at the right spot and you punish it. So don't forget that this is an option. So when he's close to V-Trigger and you wear him down with pokes, he's going to look for a jump fireball or even a demon flip. Even a normal demon flip. You see him go to the air, you immediately throw a rose when you're close to hit him. Because you want to make sure you clip that. And it does more damage because they buffed it in Arcade Edition. So it does 180 damage, 200 stun. Akuma has low health. So you're doing a good chunk to him. It's nothing to laugh about. Now, let's talk about V-Trigger 2. So basically how you can use V-Trigger 2 is any situation where a stand short will connect, because it's a 3-frame startup, as you can see it if you mash quickly. Right? The counter has the 3-frame startup. So for example, with Ryu, a 3-frame gap would be... So this actually is a gap. If you ever see a Ryu player do this, and this is their main pressure tool, you can stand short after you block the first medium punch, right? Because it's a 3-frame gap. That's not a true frame trap. A lot of people don't know this with Ryu. But if you want a bigger punish, and it's a harder read, you can counter, right? And so look at that damage, right? 150, 200 stun versus 90 and 174, right? And the great thing too is that you have follow-ups such as EX wall dive. Huge damage, right? Huge damage. 500%, 500 damage stun. But one of the most important things for V-Trigger is you can use it as a reactionary tool against jump-ins. So if they jump in at you, you can activate and then EX wall dive for clean anti-air. You can also activate and then jump air throw, if you don't have bar. Or just use it as a plain normal reaction to make your life easier. And it works pretty consistently. Okay? You can also counter, which is a very solid anti-air. But you have to be on the lookout for empty jumps, right? And I don't recommend activating and then countering, because sometimes you might eat their input, right? Like right there you saw. So the only time you want to do it is to anti-air them, right? Okay. Now, one thing I think all claw players should be using V-Trigger 2 for is separately. So what I mean by that is using the V-Trigger in two separate sequences. So one sequence is where you activate, and the other sequence is where you do the kick follow-up to continue your combo. So for example, a good use of meter for it would be... Right? Pretty good damage, good corner carry, right? A bit stronger than the normal combo. This combo does 248 and 430 stun. The combo without the V-Trigger activation into the Stand Fierce extension is 230 and 400 stun. So it's quite a bit more, right? A bad thing to do would be something like this. So you can see you're gaining damage, but the scaling is much worse, and you've just used your entire bar on this combo, when you could have saved a chunk of damage for later, right? So for example, converting off your pokes and claw is the most important thing. And except for max range, all your stuff will combo. Okay? So if you're a bit closer, you can do this if this will kill. Because the thing is with this, it still does damage, and you're converting off one hit. If you're doing a combo, I would advise not to use the trigger. Unless, for example, you're in the corner. And now this is not my tech, this is Shhheeeeow, who posted this first. But this is Jesus tech. This is golden, okay? So you do already activate raw, and you do here. Round, and then after that sequence, go back to the corner, you go into roundhouse, and what roundhouse does in the corner, it resets them, and you can walk under and nearly kill them. It looks very ambiguous, does it not? And you can actually stun if you can land the tight timing. There you go. And that's stun. And then you lose your 2 bars and your V-Trigger, but they're about to be dead. And you can do basically the same follow-ups from the V-Trigger cancel. EX wall dive, for example, right? You can still reset with roundhouse. You can go for a mix-up, dash up throw, whatever you want. If they land with buttons, it will beat your dash-in opportunity. So let's say, for example, so if they're doing a 3-frame, it definitely won't work. If they do a 4-frame, oh my god. Oh my god, the best button. Okay. Yeah, so you'll trade on a 4-frame. So not recommended, but you can go for a reset and do something else. And one big thing to keep in mind is that in both triggers, you can cancel V-skill into critical art. Like so. And this is a huge deal. Especially against fireball characters such as Ryu. So when you go through their fireball, you can actually follow up. Oops, sorry guys. And a big deal about it is that you can do V-trigger and still do that. But the thing is, what makes it even better and what they actually buffed about it is you can cancel it from the target combo, which was not possible before. And this does pretty good damage off a simple conversion. So for example, what you can look for off like a whiff punish you can look for V-skill and then into critical art. Oh. Up too close. And you can get, the thing is you can buffer it into super right away. So that's my advice to you guys. I would recommend labbing your anti-airs, keeping the claw on, and optimizing your damage and your V-trigger use. And if you do these things, it's going to be very difficult for people to get in on your Vega, and you're going to get in when you want to, and you're going to whiff punish stuff with Fierce way more often. Because this will reach further than doing a spin into medium punch. From a whiff punish. At any range you hit claw, you should always do roll. Generally, unless I told you to do V-skill, which you need to if you need to build meter. But off a whiff punish, right? And I'll show you here just for proof of concept that it's not going to work. So this will hit max range. And you can see it whiffs right there. So I don't recommend doing it. So anyways guys, if you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter and ask me questions there. I'll try to keep posting more Arcade Edition stuff soon, and some more setups if I can find them and have the time. If not, you guys can always tune into my stream on Sundays, on Sunday afternoon usually. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay classy, guys.